A very good afternoon. We have the latest from the US presidential election with Olivia Quay. I'm Haryanto Diman.
We're seeing a nail-biting election indeed, with Donald Trump and Joe Biden still neck and neck in the race to reach 270 electoral votes. Trump has 213, while Biden has 220.
Now, speaking at the White House just earlier, Trump thanked Americans for the tremendous support they've shown him. He also alleged major vote fraud on the American nation, adding, quote, "Frankly, we did win this election." He added that he plans to go to the US Supreme Court and wants all the voting to stop.
This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the US Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this, and as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it.
Well, earlier, Mr. Trump had also taken to Twitter accusing the Democrats of attempting to steal the election.
Meanwhile, Democratic candidate Joe Biden also spoke to supporters earlier in his hometown of Delaware, saying he believes, quote, "We're on track to win this election," and feeling real good about Wisconsin and Michigan.
He urged Americans to be patient and stressed that it is neither his place nor Mr. Trump's to declare the winner of the election, but it's the decision of the American people.
And it ain't over till every vote is counted, every ballot is counted. But we're feeling good. We're feeling good about where we are. We believe one of the nets has suggested we've already won Arizona, but we're confident about Arizona. That's a turnaround. We also just called it for Minnesota, and we're still in the game in Georgia, although that's not one we expected. And we're feeling real good about Wisconsin and Michigan. And by the way, it's going to take time to count the votes. We're going to win Pennsylvania.
Former US Bureau Chief Jeremy Au Yong is back. Now, welcome, Jeremy. Jeremy, it's just past 3 a.m. in Washington, D.C. Now, in 2016, a winner was projected around 2:30 a.m. Where are we right now?
Well, as you said in the intro, it is a nail-biter. But maybe if we look at the map, we have a better sense of where the race stands at this moment. So if you see from earlier today, actually a lot of it has filled in. We don't have any more white, and a lot of it is in solid colors now.
Yep.
So we can see where the race stands. And as you mentioned, it's 220 to 213. And as we have been talking about all day, it does look once again to come down to the 3 states you see in pink in the northeast of the US. That is going to sound like a broken record. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
It looks like it's going to come down to these 3. You see both candidates are in the 200s, very close to the 270 they need to win. Those 46 votes in those 3 states are likely to going to make all the difference. Arizona on the left, which is the one real flip we have seen tonight, which is it voted for Trump in 2016, looks very likely now to go for Biden. That doesn't change the equation that much. All it means is what is going to come down to, in the end, is Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, anybody who wins 2 out of 3. It doesn't matter which 2.
Right.
Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, any 2. Anybody wins 2 out of 3, they are the president.
Okay, well, we'll talk more about those 3 states later on. But first, let's talk about something that the 2 states that have already been called for Donald Trump, Florida as well as Texas. Let's focus on Florida, which is, considered the biggest prize of the battleground states. You observed that the president's victory there is despite being behind in the polls. Can you elaborate, Jeremy?
Yeah, so he was, throughout this election campaign, he was behind in the polls in Florida. Anywhere from just about 1 point behind to 4 points behind. It looks like he is going to win it maybe about 3 or 4 points. That means there is a polling error there of at least 4 to 5 points, which is a very large polling error. most people think in 2016 the polls were off just about 3 points. So this is larger than that. And he actually needed a polling error that was larger than the 2016 one to win. And so that has happened. The question now is that polling error systemic across the US? That means all the polls are wrong in the same direction, in the same way? Or was there something very special about Florida that, you know, that's unique to Florida that made it difficult for pollsters to accurately gauge the sentiment there? If it's a Florida-only thing, then it doesn't actually mean that much for the race as a whole. If it's systemic, then it's good news for Trump. Either way, I would say, based on polls, tonight already is looking much better for Donald Trump than he would have hoped just based on the polling entering the race.
Right. Now, on Donald Trump, we've heard him speak earlier on, right, Jeremy? Now, he claimed victory while alleging major vote fraud and said he will go to the Supreme Court to stop all vote counting. Now, what do you make of this?
Well, unfortunately, this is not that surprising. It's not true, and I'll get into that, but it's not surprising because this has been the theme of one of the key themes of Donald Trump's message throughout this campaign. He has said this, something similar to that there's going to be fraud, especially through mail-in voting. He has said this thing many times. So the first thing to be clear is when he says he wants voting to stop, voting has already stopped.
Yes.
Yeah, so all the polls, I think just about everywhere have closed. There is no more voting. What people are doing, why we don't have a result now, is because the votes have not been fully counted. A lot of them, especially mail-in ballots. And there are way more mail-in ballots this year than there were in any previous election. So counting that is going to take some time. And in some of the states, the 3 key states we talk about, they can actually count mail-in ballots that arrive after election day, as long as they were sent, the postmark on the envelope is before election day. So that means this counting could go on for days, it could go on for a week. As long as you have voted before election day, they are actually obliged to count it. So there isn't so much fraud going on, and there is certainly no voting still taking place. And also, we don't know who won. So I think both candidates have expressed confidence that they are going to win. Well, Donald Trump has actually just practically declared victory. But to be just absolutely clear, we don't know who has won, and we don't know because not all the votes have been counted.
Right. Okay. Well, now let's move on to, the 3 blue wall states that we have been talking about since 12 p.m. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. So, Jeremy, out of the 3, you mentioned that as long as either candidate wins 2 out of the 3, they'll win the election. So let's talk about Biden first then. Which is Biden most likely to win, considering that, the 3 were won by Donald Trump in 2016? We heard in his speech earlier that he's pretty confident of taking Wisconsin, which has 10 electoral votes, and Michigan, which has 16. So that's really 26 out of the 36 votes that you said that he needs to flip from the 2016 results. So again, which out of the 3, which do you think Biden is most likely to win?
So in order of the advantage he had in polling, just opinion polls where the odds were in his favor, in order, it was Michigan, biggest lead there, then Wisconsin, then Pennsylvania. Who knows whether that is going to turn out that way? If you look at the map now, all of them have Trump leading. But then these are also all states that count in-person voting today first. And they have yet to finish counting mail-in ballots and early votes. So the mail-in ballots are again expected to favor Democrats, mainly because of how the 2 candidates approach COVID. This is the COVID factor. Donald Trump has largely been a get on with your life, don't let COVID affect your life kind of candidate, whereas Biden has been more about encouraging his supporters to wear masks, take safe distancing precautions and all that. So that means it is more likely that a lot of Democrats voted by mail.
Right.
Because that is, you don't have the risk of queuing up at a polling station.
Right.
So when those are counted, it just remains to be seen whether the lead there for the Democrats is enough to overcome the deficit that they now see after the in-person ballots were counted.
Right, right. Now, talking about these mail-in ballots, then, are you able to say if mail-in ballots, especially if they've received after polling day, will change the results?
Yes, so I'm unable to say that. I don't think anybody can say that. The reason, like I said, a lot of news outlets have very complicated, sophisticated statistical models that they use to predict the races. That they haven't predicted any of them is just an indication that the number of votes left can still change the result. That's why they are unable to declare a winner one way or another. The number of votes counted is larger than, not counted is larger than the current lead anyone has.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Jeremy, for staying with us all afternoon. That was former US Bureau Chief for the Straits Times, Jeremy Au Yong.
Now you can visit straitstimes.com for developments throughout the day on our live blog and microsite as well. You can find a state-by-state breakdown, news developments, analysis, as well as social media updates.
Well, we'll be back at 5:30 p.m. on The Big Story, where we'll check in with foreign editor Bhagya Srigareka. But if results are announced earlier, which is doubtful, we'll bring those to you as soon as possible as well. I'm Olivia Quay with Haryanto Daman. Thank you so much for watching.